The winter of 2024 was relentless. A cruel thaw, followed by a dramatic drop in temperature, had created a treacherous landscape of ice and snow. Sergei, a retired engineer with a heart as warm as his wood stove, found himself staring at a tiny, trembling figure trapped in the icy grip of his garden. It was a kitten, its tiny paws frozen in a puddle that had turned into a deadly trap overnight. His heart ached for the creature, whose weak whimpers echoed in the crisp air. He knew he had to act quickly. Sergei called the local veterinarian who, despite the late hour, advised him to pour warm water over the kitten's frozen limbs. With unshakable determination, Sergei began the arduous task. He poured bucket after bucket of warm water, his heart sinking with each passing minute. Then, finally, he saw a faint glimmer return to the kitten's once pale, frozen paws. After 12 buckets, the kitten was free. Sergei carefully carried it into the house, wrapped it in a warm towel, and placed it near the radiator. A pang of sadness settled in his chest. He knew he couldn't keep the kitten. His wife had passed away a few years ago, and he wasn't sure he could handle the responsibility of a pet. Still, the kitten's desperate cries had touched something deep within him. Determined to find it a loving home, he recorded a heartwarming video of the rescue and shared an appeal on his social media page. The video, filled with Sergei's rough but tender voice, resonated with viewers worldwide. The kitten, with its large, innocent eyes, became a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. Translated into numerous languages, the video went viral and caught the attention of a young woman named Ekaterina. Ekaterina had recently lost her beloved cat and was devastated. But the kitten's story struck a chord with her, filling her heart with hope. She reached out, hoping to offer it a home. When Ekaterina and Sergei met, she felt an instant connection to the kitten. It was as if fate had brought them together. She named him Semyon, after a cherished childhood character, and promised Sergei that he would be loved and well cared for. Under Ekaterina's care, Semyon flourished. He became playful and affectionate, but he remained wary of strangers. It was clear that his experience had shaped him. He would snuggle on Ekaterina's lap for hours, purring contentedly, but he kept his distance from others, especially men. Years passed and Semyon grew into a magnificent Siberian cat, his sleek, dark fur gleaming in the sunlight. He became the heart of Ekaterina's home, a constant source of comfort and companionship for both her and her young daughter. One winter day, while looking through old photos, Ekaterina came across a familiar image. Semyon, just a tiny ball of fur, cradled in Sergei's hands, the warmth of the radiator glowing around them. Her eyes lingered on Sergei's kind face, on his rough hands that had so carefully rescued the fragile kitten from the deadly cold. In that moment, she realized something. Semyon's wariness of men wasn't born of fear, but of memory. It was not men he feared, but loneliness. The loneliness of the man who had saved him. Ekaterina knew she had to find Sergei. She felt an obligation to show him what his kindness had blossomed into. A life filled with love. After searching online, she finally found him. She sent him a message, along with a picture of Semyon. A healthy, happy cat. A few weeks later, Ekaterina stood at Sergei's doorstep, Semyon in her arms. As she stepped inside, Semyon, usually so cautious around unfamiliar people, let out a quiet meow and walked straight to Sergei. He sat down and Semyon jumped onto his lap without hesitation, purring softly. Sergei looked at the cat, then at Ekaterina, realization dawning in his eyes. With a trembling hand, he reached out, stroking Semyon's soft fur. A single tear rolled down his cheek. "He remembers you," Ekaterina whispered. In that moment, the rescued kitten had done something extraordinary. He had brought two strangers together, bridging the distance between past and present, loneliness and love.